So this is a hard chapter. I have a chapter about religion and the ecosystem. It was the hardest chapter to write. It was the hardest chapter to report on. And I almost didn't write it. In fact, I had people both here and there who told me that I shouldn't take it on. And in the end, the reason why I wanted to at least touch on it is because I will come back from the Arab world, and invariably people will ask me about Islam and Muslim. By the way, I can come back from Indonesia. No one asks me that question ever. Come back from India. No one asks me about religion ever. I mean, so there's something going on. So one of the reasons I wanted to get at this subject was just to sort of go into that narrative and bias that I think is a big phenomenon within whatever audience reads that here. The other thing, though, having said that, was that, again, I'm no theologian, I'm no religious person whatsoever, but it does beg, and this is where I really went at it in the chapter, a very interesting question about the ecosystem, because you guys know ecosystems matter. A lot's happening despite the ecosystem, unbelievable things are happening bottom up. These guys have incredible headwinds there. So the question that I asked entrepreneurs, without any judgment whatsoever, was, if in fact you are living in an ecosystem where the interpretation of anything, whether it be religion or something else, is that you have to adhere to hierarchy, and you put 50% of your talent at bay, how does that work in a global competitive environment? And as you can imagine, I got this outpouring of effectively it doesn't. What was very moving and surprising to me was this not surprising really, but moving to me, was incredible devout view of the importance of faith and religion in their lives on a daily basis, and how at the end of the day they believe one of the great things about Islam is that there are no popes, there is no hierarchy. It's ironic that we wrestle this because I'd like to be able to think of myself as an entrepreneur in my faith as I do in day to day, and it brings tremendous amount of power here. We have a wonderful man here, Yusri Hemley, who also has built an amazing business, both for global people who have an opportunity to assess whether companies may or may not be compliant to the rules of Islam and all. And I mean, it just opens up a whole wide swath of things, both personally and overarchingly, and it's unbelievably moving. And as I said before, when people are beginning to think about politics and society, they're thinking about culture and religion, they're thinking about their futures. They do not want the next 10 years to look like the last 10 years. So we may have to open it up.
We have to open it up in 1 minute. So I'm going to ask you one more question, and that is, since you know that my work is more about expanding human rights, international development, you had some wonderful insights and observations. Some of the people that you're working with are already thinking about what we would call in this country social entrepreneurship or corporate social responsibility, or quite frankly, maybe the place to focus is how to change the education systems in these countries, which not only are not reaching enough young people, but are not providing them the kinds of educations that will allow this work to take off.
I make no bets here, but I'll just share with you what I saw, and we can do with it what we want. Education system is a fascinating thing that I dug into, and it obviously varies country by country in the Middle East and region by region. What surprised me overall is the amount of money spent per capita on kids there is actually unbelievably high. But it goes to like the wrong training. First of all, it's rote learning, high memorization to test. But a lot of kids just kind of blow it off anyways. 70 kids to a classroom. And I mean, there's everything that, just this dichotomy of everything else is unbelievably powerful. In Egypt alone, and Yusri, you can correct me, the tutoring, supplemental education offline space is like $2 to $3 billion. Okay, and by the way, the people who are spending that money are like not everybody in Egypt. There's very wealthy people who are spending that kind of money to sort of work around the problem. So lo and behold, I have probably 15% of the startups I've seen in Egypt alone literally start the conversation saying we're hacking the system. I'm not waiting a generation for them to fix it because it's never going to happen. So should we be surprised that there are dozens in Arabic of Khan Academy-like things built around the curriculum there, where now not only do the wealthy have access to supplemental education, but now entire communities, people, even on dumb phones, let alone smartphones, are getting tutoring, Arabic courses to supplement what they want to do. I'll leave you with this one, cocktail party stat you can use on my behalf elsewhere, and then we'll turn it to questions overall. But if I were to ask you, what is the largest per capita viewer of YouTube in the world, per capita, would you be surprised if I told you it was Saudi Arabia? If I were to tell you what is the largest population or demographic watching video in Saudi Arabia, would you be surprised if I said it was women? And if I were to ask you what is the largest plurality of content being watched, would it surprise you if I said it was educational? Something's different. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Yes.